Hello and welcome to episode 94 of the Disney Park Princess podcast. I'm your co-host, Sara.
I'm Heather.
I'm Sharla.
I was not supposed to go. I went first last week.
I know, it was a moment of panic. As usual, moment of panic.
As usual, moment of panic. Yes, it happens every week, but it's amusing for me, so I love it. This week was particularly amusing, though, because the look on Heather's face was like, wait, no, what? No. All right. So, like I said, this is episode 94 of the Disney Park Princess podcast. This week, we are going to be talking about one of my happy places at Walt Disney World, Disney Springs, and why we really believe that it is Disney World's fifth theme park. Like, it should count.
But nope, you don't have to have park admission. So
exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's the best part about it.
Yeah.
I
would say this about Disney Springs. If you haven't been in the past 3 years, you really haven't been.
You haven't been, yeah.
No, it is
so different.
So different. I cannot wrap my head around first of all, how different it is. Second, I get so lost in that middle area.
So lost, yeah.
Because I'm not used to it yet.
I remember my first trip there after they had finished all of the renovations and all the neighborhoods were open, and I got off the bus at the new bus stop and I just walked in and went, where am I? Like, I had no frame of reference on how to go to the stores I wanted to go to. It's so different.
It is amazingly different. And yet I go back and I try to remember like exactly what it was like beforehand, and it gets fuzzy. Like I can't remember the exact pathways and the way that it was.
I can remember the old school downtown Disney like the back of my hand. I loved it there.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I love it, and it's upsetting to me because as much as I love it, I never get to spend enough time there, if any. I rarely make it over there on trips because I'm so focused on other things. So I am determined that one of these days I'm going to do like a trip that is like Disney Springs focused and, parks be damned.
We've actually been talking about, should we go down there for like a long weekend and not go to the parks? And that would be the perfect time to go to Disney Springs quite a bit. So.
Yeah. For those of us who just canceled our annual passes, this may be the only option we have right now. So. Yeah. All right. So anyway, we're going to get into that. First of all, we want to talk about the blog a little bit. So of course we have a website, DisneyParkPrincess.com. This week's blog, we were going to make it the podcast topic, but it's just too depressing. We don't want to talk about depressing stuff on the podcast right now. But it's a blog post that I've been putting off writing it for weeks. I knew it needed to get done. I knew people had questions, but it wasn't a fun topic. So we tend to pick topics that we're going to enjoy writing. So I'd been sort of sitting on this one for a while, and I finally bit the bullet and wrote it. If you're interested, it's should you cancel your Walt Disney World vacation? 5 questions to ask yourself first. So again, if you're going, if you're not going, make the best decision for you and for your family.
Okay.
Just make sure it's an informed decision. That's all we ask. So do the research, ask these questions. And I think, once you've answered those questions for yourself, it'll give you a sense of, is it the right choice for your family? So if it is, fantastic. Have a great time. Wear a mask. If it's not, totally understand that too. So, yeah. Anyway, so you can check that out on DisneyParkPrincess.com. Up next, we will talk all about Disney Springs, shopping, dining, and entertainment. Insert music here. Yeah. All right, let's get into it. I don't even know where to start.
Well, shopping. That's what they say. Shopping, dining, entertainment. So
let's start with a little bit of like an overview of what Disney Springs is. Because some people who are listening, like, for all we know, we have listeners that either haven't been to Walt Disney World or haven't been in a really long time, or may not be, they might think of it under a different name, depending on how long ago it's been, so.
My mother-in-law still calls it the Village, so.
Disney Village, I remember that too.
Yeah. She's really old school, yeah. So what we were referring to is what used to be known as Downtown Disney, and still is in Disneyland known as Downtown Disney District. So it is now known as Disney Springs, and it is divided into, and it always has been, or not always, but it for a long time has been divided into sort of sections. There's like the marketplace section. There was Pleasure Island once upon a time. I'm dating myself.
Pleasure Island is the greatest thing on the planet, and I still mourn that loss.
Pleasure Island was fantastic. And then there's the West Side. If you go back even further, it was the Disney Village, and it was just sort of a small shopping area. Now it is Marketplace, Town Center,
the Landing.
The Landing.
I think it's still called West Side.
And the West Side, right? Okay. All right. Yeah. And basically it's the Landing and Town Center that is sort of the entirely new section.
Right.
Entirely new. It includes parking garages and covered areas and shops.
Wait, isn't there another one also called the Springs?
The Springs. I was going to say, I couldn't. I
feel like there's like 7 different neighborhoods.
Yeah,
like you can't really.
No wonder we're lost when we go. Yeah. So yeah, the Marketplace is where like the original Disney Village was. So those are the sort of the OG shops,
like
if you will.
Cottage looking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. The West Side sprang up pretty much when they added Cirque du Soleil, which is 20-something years ago now. And then Town Center is the newest section, which once upon a time was parking lots and Pleasure Island, like the new Town Center Springs Landing.
Right.
I just think that is
basically the giant outdoor mall.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that's in between the old stuff and the new old stuff.
That's a good way to put it.
The old, the new old, and then just the new. Yeah.
Yeah. And they look vast. Like each area, it's like a theme park in that each land looks different.
It's very distinct. And there's a story to it, right? Of course, it's Disney. There has to be a story. So
here's my problem with Disney, though, is that their stories are really good, but they never really advertise them. So you're kind of just walking around, and if you're not a huge Disney fan, you don't realize that there's a story behind them. And I would really like there to be like, come on, get into it, put a plaque up here, put me in a theme type of thing. I wish they did.
Help me out just a little bit.
Yeah. They can appreciate your work more, because now I can connect the dots and kind of really get into it. But
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah. All right. So let's start, as all things should, with shopping. Because it's pretty much my favorite thing. Where are your favorite places to go at Disney Springs for shopping?
Well, we all know that my very favorite place is the Spice and Tea Shop at the Village. But I tend to only shop at the Village stores, and occasionally 1 or 2 on the Landing. I'm looking at you, Ganachery, with your pumpkin spice chocolates. But I don't shop in the new sections, and I never really shopped on the West Side because they tend to have stores that I can find here at my local mall. Right. And so I was really, really bummed actually when Disney put these in, because I just thought, well, this is stupid. I can get this at home. I don't need to buy it here and then get it on the plane. But I do understand why they've included these. Sure, it's to draw the locals, but then there's also millions upon millions of international visitors where it's super cheap for them to buy it here. So I understand it, but I'm personally not shopping there.
Yeah. I have a rule that I won't buy anything at Disney Springs that if it's an item I can get at home, then I won't buy it at Disney Springs typically, unless it's like I'm at Sephora because I forgot to pack mascara or something like that. That's the exception to the rule. But like, I do like to shop at like Kate Spade or Uggs or wherever, but only for the exclusive merchandise that you can only get at the Disney Springs location. So that's my loophole.
And that makes sense because that's unique and you can't get that anywhere else. So
exactly.
I can get it here. They sell like the Kate Spade Disney collections and things at all of our Kate Spades here, because they don't have one at downtown Disney, but we're Disney, right? So I mean, like, I'll be walking through Pasadena and their brand new collection is in the window. I'm like, oh, okay, so much for that. But
yeah. So they do have things that are, I don't know about California, but for the rest of us, they have things that are what they call park exclusive merchandise or Springs exclusive merchandise. So there are certain things like the Uggs with the Swarovski, crystal characters and things like that. Like here on the East Coast, the Disney Springs locations are the only place that you can get those. So yeah, that's my rule.
I pretty much like to shop at World of Disney and at the Days of Christmas. Those are my top two shops. I also go to the Marketplace Co-op. I kind of view that as an extension of World of Disney in a way because
I love that. And trendy.
Yeah, trendy is cute. 28 Main is cute at the Co-op. Cherry Tree Lane is adorable. All their stuff. So that's the type of things that I like. I don't generally buy designer stuff because I spend all my money on Disney knickknacks and stuff. So that's why I like those.
Well, and that's what's sort of interesting about us is that we each have sort of different priorities for like what we spend our shopping dollars on. For me, it's all ornaments and probably jewelry and bags. And you guys, I think, tend to be a little more stuff oriented. It's plates or it's kitchenware or it's knickknacks or it's figurines or things like that. So
I tend to only spend my money on things with Alice in Wonderland on it. Like I'm not going and buying a Mickey t-shirt. It's just not my thing. I'm never going to wear it. But if it has Alice on it, I probably own it.
Yeah.
I got my Mickey t-shirt on now, but I got this in Hollywood at the Studio Store.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
That's from Ghirardelli's on Hollywood Boulevard, right next to the Jimmy Kimmel Theater.
It's on the trip where we all met. So, fun stuff. Fun times.
Yeah. So, but that's the best thing about Disney Springs is no matter what you're shopping for. Oh, and the pet stuff we all buy. I
have entirely too much of the pet stuff. Like I feel I have a lot of unused of the pet store things.
Yeah.
Well, they used to have a pet store.
Once upon a time there was an actual
and now it's pretty much all in the World of Disney or elsewhere around, which is fine because you can get it just about anywhere.
I think it still counts as its own store. I think it's called like Disney Tales or something like that, and it's a section of the Marketplace Co-op.
Yeah,
but it's not like a freestanding store like it used to be. Yeah. Although it's almost fall, which means it's almost time to break out the Haunted Mansion leash and collar set. So
I still have Copley's Haunted Mansion collar. I bought him and then I never put it on him. And so it's just like, it's still in the package. And I'm like, it's okay. I'll just keep it. It's fine. It's cute.
But no matter what you're shopping for, they have it there. Like almost anything you could possibly think of. If there's a way to slap a Mickey on it.
Didn't know that you needed, they have.
Yeah. Oh, things you never would have thought you needed. Yeah.
This is how I started collecting salt and pepper shakers that look like trash cans. This is ridiculous that I needed them.
But obviously you had to have them.
Obviously. And
I feel like I could go on this topic forever, but my downfall in the past like 3 years happens to be water bottles of any but like my greatest possession is the water bottle I have. It's Jungle Cruise themed, and it says on the back of the water bottle, so you see it through your water. Welcome to the backside of water, or however they phrase it. And I laughed so hard at Disneyland when I saw it. I'm like, well, I need this, and Justin's like, we don't have room. You don't need that. I go, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. I need this. It's coming home with me.
I had to buy one when we were there because it makes me laugh. I use it all the time. It makes me laugh.
Yeah. I bought it for Sean and he thinks it's hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Justin thinks he's clever because he took it out of the fridge and I saw it in our like mug drawer the other day, which I'm also not allowed to buy any more of. And I was like, oh, no. I'm going to take your water bottles out and put my water bottles.
Priorities, people. Little pro tip for shopping at Disney Springs, and a lot of people don't know this, but you can ship your items home. So if you are a person who sometimes buys a lot of small, fragile items, ornaments, you don't have to figure out how to get them in your suitcase home. You can ship them home. And typically you get, depending on where you live, then you won't pay sales tax on it because you pay sales tax on it supposedly when you get home. So it sort of offsets the cost of the shipping a little bit, and they will wrap it and ship it for you. If it gets damaged en route, they will replace it for you. So
right. And that's the good thing about it is because, if you put it in your carry-on or your travel bag, or your checked bag, then it gets damaged, which is quite possible because you've seen them throw that stuff around.
Oh, yeah. Anybody who's ever watched them load bags.
Yeah.
But then it's like a present when you get home. Like maybe you forgot that you had it, or maybe it's been a week and then it arrived at the house and you're like, So
I always forget exactly what I bought because I tend to buy the ornaments sort of in a haze. You guys have seen me do it. I just sort of throw things into the basket and then it gets home and it's like Christmas all over again. Yeah. I have no idea what I bought.
Well, so I have 4 Christmas ornaments sitting on the floor of my office because I was cleaning it up and I don't know when the last time. This was before last Christmas, and I was like, I forgot all about these, and they were just in a bag, and I never unpacked them. So hopefully, I don't forget to put them out in a few months.
I'll try to remember to remind you.
Yeah. Also, so if you don't want to ship them home, or you're driving, or even if you're driving, you can still ship them home. But if you don't want to ship them home, they do have resort delivery if you are staying on site. And so you should know this about any store. Disney Springs, I believe, does resort delivery, doesn't it? I don't know.
You believe? I didn't hear what you said.
They do.
Resort delivery takes it back to your resort for you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So all the stores in the parks and at Disney Springs, if you just
I don't think all the stores do it though. I think it's only the Disney owned stores that do it. Like I don't think you can ship your Kate Spade stuff back to the resort.
Yeah. Can you ship your Kate Spade stuff home?
Yes, I believe that you can. Yeah.
So the Disney stores, you can ship it to your resort, pick it up the next day, and then you don't have to carry it, shop with all the bags.
Yep.
So and that's free. Don't have to pay for that.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So shopping.
Dining.
The best part. I feel like I cannot keep up with the restaurants that are in Disney Springs. Like every other
so many I haven't even tried yet.
Like not even close. I don't even think I've gotten to a quarter of them because there's just so many and they change often. But let's just talk about the best one. Obviously, it's Homecoming. It's the greatest restaurant in all of Disney.
I haven't been. I haven't been.
Get in your cars right now. We're going down. We're quarantining, and then we are getting a reservation at home. It is.
I would. There's a hurricane going on outside, but other than that,
technically it's a tropical storm. You're fine.
Tropical storm. Sorry. Yeah, it's tropical storm going on outside.
You can just drive kind of around, right? Go a little bit inland and drive down. Well, no, I haven't been to Homecoming either. There's.
It's amazing.
I was looking at the list earlier. I was like, no. I mean, but there's a lot that I do really, really like that I have been to. Mm-hmm. Then there's a lot of them that I don't typically go to, not because I don't like them, but because I feel like there's something that you can get here or similar to here. Like, I don't like the big chain type things such as T-Rex or Rainforest Cafe. They're fine, but it's your typical chain restaurant with a lot of stuff going on. There's nothing wrong with them if that's where you want to eat, but if I'm going to go, I'd rather eat a little bit more upscale or fine dining than that type of thing.
Yeah.
That's my personal preference.
I would agree with that. There are so many new places and I have not had a chance to check out hardly any of them. So,
Yeah.
I can't even speak to what my favorite place is right now because
they change.
They change so
much.
And I
feel like you said, like I don't spend all that much time at Disney Springs. Like when I go, it's to go to my few stores. Like I used to, I would take a day off and lay by the pool, and then you would go to Disney Springs. But now Disney Springs is so big that you almost need 2 days.
It almost feels. I think that might be part of the reason why I'm sort of hesitant to go there sometimes. Is it feels a little overwhelming. Like it's so big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That I sort of feel like, well, I'm not going to get it all done. I'm not going to get to see everything, So to me, it's like, I almost feel like, I think people must feel sometimes when they're planning their first Walt Disney World trip, like, oh my gosh, it's so big. There's so much to do. Like, how am I going to get to see and do everything? And then they get overwhelmed and then they put the trip off for a year. Like I hear that all the time from clients, that's kind of how I feel about Disney Springs right now.
And the new bus situation doesn't help. I loathe what they did with the bus stop, and where it used to be that when Disney Springs was downtown Disney and it was a lot smaller. They had, the Pleasure Island bus stops, and then they had the Village bus stops. And then they tore out the Village bus stops and expanded what used to be the Pleasure Island bus stops. And now there's just one bus stop kind of in the middle of the whole complex.
Yeah.
But like there's so many buses and so many stops that like if you're at a hotel that's at the very last bus stop, you're walking like 15 minutes just to get in to the complex. And if I've been there all day and my feet are tired, I don't want to walk a half a mile or 2 miles, depending on where I am, to my bus, and I hate it. I hate it so much.
I have to say, I will agree with you on that. I do not understand how when they made it bigger, they took away
a bus stop.
2 bus stops, because there used to be one on the west side too. There was a bus stop down on the west side, there was a bus stop down in the marketplace, and then there was one in the middle.
And I don't understand. Here's what really, really aggravates me. If I am paying, $800 a night to stay at the Grand Floridian, why am I one of the last bus stops? I should be at bus stop number 1, get right on my bus, and not have to walk that extra half a mile.
Look, you're not wrong, but I need to say this. No matter where I stay, I'm always at the last bus stop. And I've stayed at the Grand Floridian and I'm at the last bus stop. I stayed at Pop Century and I'm at the last bus stop. It doesn't matter.
You're like me with Magical Express.
Yeah. Wherever I stay, and I swear they know I'm coming and they just change it. So if you stay at the Grand Floridian with me, that's why you're at the last bus stop at Disney Springs. But I find the buses, even though the bus stop is a little bit harder, I think the buses come a lot quicker now than they used to, because I used to wait what seemed like forever at the marketplace bus stop, and now I feel like it's just constantly coming.
I do think they have added more buses.
I've waited like 25 minutes there for a bus at the end of the day, and like exhausted. Like I can't even stand up, and I'm waiting 20 something minutes for my bus to come. So that has not been my experience there. That's when I get to minivan, and I hate the minivans too because they're so expensive now.
Yeah. I frequently use Uber or Lyft to get to and from Disney Springs.
Same. Yeah. And I think that's worth it to do. Didn't we do that when we were there in November?
We did. Yep.
Yeah, I think
we did. Yeah.
Because I remember getting a big one. So because there were a bunch of us that did it. Yeah. But I think one of the things that maybe my strategy for if I go sometime without going to the parks this fall is I will go and I will only hit the marketplace landing, and not even go over to the not the marketplace landing, the town center and landing, and then not go over to the marketplace at all, or make that a last. I know, make that
it would be so hard.
That way you get to know, the other stuff.
You're right.
There.
You're right. Yeah, I need to spend time in the new section, just getting to know it and exploring and trying. Exactly. Okay, guys. Speaking of dining, I'm dying to try Homecoming. Huge Art Smith fan. Why do I really want to try Chicken Guy?
I don't know. I don't have that desire.
I really want to try Chicken Guy, mainly because I'm intrigued by all of the dipping sauces, because I love a chicken tender and a dipping sauce. Yeah. So I really want to try it. Like, I really just want to go and try it. Like, I just try all the sauces. That's all I want.
Yeah. It looks fun to me.
I have 2 restaurants that I really, really am dying to try. And I don't know why I haven't. I have no excuse other than I just don't go there. But obviously one is me and Sharla. We have a date at Wine Bar George. That one has only been open 2 years. One day we'll get there. We were even there last October. We walked right by it. We're like, should we go? We're too tired. It is my dream to get to Wine Bar George. I'm so excited for that. And then also the Edison. Have you guys been to the Edison there yet?
No.
So I've heard mixed reviews of the ones in Orlando, but the original Edison is here in downtown Los Angeles, and it is one of my favorite experiences and one of my favorite locations. It's a bit of a restaurant, but it's mostly a lounge. It was in the old Con Edison electrical building in the basement, and when the developer who found the restaurant, it was like 5 feet underwater, and they had to take a canoe around it, and then they drained it, they redid it, they found all of this gorgeous old like electrical equipment and boilers and things like that. So you're basically in this underground, like sort of undeveloped space, and they have aerialists and burlesque dancers, and then they have jazz bands that come in, so you never quite know what you're going to see there. They even have the Green Fairy walking around with an absinthe cart where you can buy shots of absinthe. Like, it's just like cool throwback to like the
sort
1800s.
Of a steampunky kind of.
Yes, very much. And it's very classy, very upscale. And so I did walk into the Disney space because lots of Disney people frequently hang out at the Edison, and some of the Imagineers just loved it so much. And when they found that space, it was the old Adventurers Club. They were like, we know what we're going to put in here. And of course, they've Disneyfied it. You're not going to see burlesque dancers or aerialists or anything like that. But I'm curious to see. I know that they have some of the same cocktails on the menu, and what that Disney flavor kind of looks like.
Yeah. Well, it sounds a lot like the Adventurers Club, and so I think it's a good space for it too.
Yeah. Still miss the Adventurers Club though.
Yeah. Preach, me too.
Never one
one place for Pleasure Island I'm devastated over still.
Yeah. I'm still surprised they never opened that back up somewhere else. Like there after it closed, there were rumors they were going to do it, and they never did. Yeah. But never say never with Disney, because it can always happen.
Yep, exactly.
But one of the places that we tend to go to a lot and really enjoy is Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar.
Yes.
It's right on the water. It's a lot of fun. It's got pretty decent food. It's more like bar food appetizer type things, sliders and fried green beans and pretzels. And then they've got a really good, fun little cocktail menu that has a lot of really cool things. It's all themed Indiana.
You can sit outside on the little boat there.
Right.
A lot of fun.
So if you're an Indiana Jones fan, this is a good place to go. It's just got a lot of neat
little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of the Indiana Jones movies, and I still enjoy going. So you don't have to be a fan, but if you are a fan, you're going to get like all of the detail that's in there.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
I do want to mention that every single place that I've been to at Disney Springs, like especially the bars or the more sit-down bars, that they have some of the best servers of just about anywhere. Mm-hmm. So I really think that that's a good reason to go. It's just you're going to get a quality meal, good drinks, and a really great service.
Yeah. All right. I want to use the next location I want to talk about, because this will segue us sort of from the dining to the entertainment, because it's both. Don't at me, but some of the best food in Disney Springs is at Splitsville.
Yeah. I knew when you said don't at me, I knew you were going to say that. It is.
Splitsville has fantastic food.
It's crazy. And again, this is not any kind of fancy restaurant or anything like that.
It's a bowling alley.
It's a bowling alley. And if you're looking for something fun for the family and you like bowling, Splitsville's fantastic. And if you want some food while you're there, their pizza is good. Their chicken fingers are really good. The onion rings, like everything.
They have sushi. Is great.
Yeah.
And same on the West Coast. They opened it here at Downtown Disney and Disneyland, and the food is excellent as well.
Yeah. I remember we went there one time for like a work event, and they had set up like a little, we had like a private section, whatever. They had set up like a buffet or whatever with a bunch of their stuff. I was like, this food is amazing. Like, sure, we're in a bowling alley. Are you sure this is stuff that they actually have on the menu? And it was fantastic. The food was really, really good.
Right.
We've gone back.
Because a lot of times, if you're doing like a catering type thing, the event doesn't have the same food as what it. But no, this
was stuff off their menu, and it was really, really, really good. And it's a lot of fun. And if it's if you're looking for like a non-park day, or it's a rainy day, or you just want something a little different, like I think the bowling is such a great option.
And they also, beyond the bowling, as we're segueing into entertainment, it's also very much a bar. So in the evenings, they have live entertainment, different acts every night on their outdoor patio, which they have gorgeous fire pits and everything. There's also pool tables and foosball tables and ping pong tables in there. And so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it becomes a little more nightclubby. And I believe on certain nights of the week, like on the weekends, after a certain time, it's either 18 and up or 21 and up, I think, right? Do they still do that?
That I'm not sure about. I don't know.
I'm gonna look.
Yeah, somebody look that up.
But yeah, it's that fun, like at night, all like it's almost like they have a DJ in there spinning, and then the lights come up, and like it's not your old 1970s bowling alley.
Yeah. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I apologize if I seem completely distracted, but there actually really is a tropical storm going on outside, and we're now under a tornado warning or watch. And it just got super windy. So if you see me looking at, I promise you, I apologize for being so distracted, but I'm just watching as things fly by my window. So
Okay, so right now may not be the best time to look this up because it doesn't specifically say. Right now they're just open 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Right. Yes.
So that could be different. But I think you're right that it is, that there typically is an after hours type of thing.
Yeah, I feel like that was something they were doing.
Or it could be just on weekends too, because
that's what I think. I think it's only on like certain like Fridays, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something like that.
Let's check on Friday night.
Yeah.
Oh, no, still to 9 p.m. But they are open for lunch during the day on 12 to 3:55 p.m. and dinner is 4 to 9. So if you go at 3:58, you can't eat.
You just stand there and wait.
Yeah. So sorry. So other entertainment at Disney Springs. We have the AMC, which of course also closed right now.
But that's a nice rainy day activity in general. That's one that you can also eat at with the
yes, because they have like a dine-in eater,
right.
I think they call it.
Where you eat at your seat,
Right. Yeah. And then they have all sorts of free entertainment at Disney Springs that, it's not like, because Splitsville, you have to pay, and AMC you have to pay.
Yep.
But they have just concerts and bands. Yep. Again, things right now may be a little bit different, but they've got a couple of different stages set up. A lot of the restaurants and bars have some sort of entertainment going on. So it's a really good place to go. Just people watch the bands, hang out. You don't have to be in the park.
At the holidays too, they have the trees,
Christmas
tree trail. I think is so much fun.
I don't know. I think Sarah's trying to skirt around her very favorite attraction at Disney Springs, which is the hot air balloon.
I did it.
She did it.
I'm proud of myself.
So
I barely breathed for however long it was.
So that's a little pro tip, is that the reason that we did it that day, and I think we've talked about this before.
Yep.
The reason that we did it that day is because we happened to get there early so we could take photos with nobody in them. And they said, hey, it's before 10 o'clock or before 11 o'clock. So it's half price if you want to go right now.
Yep.
We're like, yep, we do. We want to go for half price.
We love a bargain.
So
much that I agreed to get in a hot air balloon again.
Yes. It was a lot of fun.
And then there's also, sorry, go ahead, Sharla.
One thing that I haven't done that I am dying to do is the amphicars.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. There is a marina at Disney Springs. And so amphicars, but then also it's a full marina. You can rent your water mice or your pontoon boats too. But
So
the amphicars are adorable.
So if you haven't seen them, they look like they're in the 1950s or 1960s little motorboats, and they're tiny and they're so cute. And unfortunately, they don't let me drive it. They have a chauffeur that drives it, but it looks really fun. And I would really
it looks like a little car, and then they just drive right into the water.
You drive the car into the water. Who doesn't want to do it? It's very Jetsons. I love it.
Yeah. But we talked about the buses, but there's also a couple of boat marinas for people staying at like Port Orleans, French Quarter, and Riverside, which are also currently closed, but they will reopen.
And Saratoga Springs,
Saratoga and Key West. Right.
Yep.
And you can walk from Saratoga Springs, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. So. I do it often, except I always somehow seem to get lost to find the trail. Like Saratoga Springs is so busy that I go one way. But really the trail is over here.
Yeah. And I love walking from Saratoga Springs, but it puts you at the far end of the marketplace. So
see, but this is why I like it, because I only shop at the marketplace. So I'm like, okay,
if you're going to the marketplace, it's fantastic. If you're if the place that you're like, if you're trying to get to the House of Blues, don't walk.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you need your steps in. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Other pro tip. Kind of entertainment. House of Blues has concerts, of course.
Right.
So they have a regular live music schedule in normal non-pandemic times. But my favorite spot at the House of Blues is the little voodoo garden out in the back, overlooking the water, which I just love.
Very fun.
Yeah.
I believe they still have the water taxi that will take you from like the marketplace over to the west side. So if you do want to go to House of Blues from Saratoga, you can walk, get on the water taxi, and then go over. Yeah. But I mean, this place is pretty big. If you haven't, like I said, if you haven't been there the past couple of years, you really haven't been. It will take you a good 30 minutes to walk from one end to the other. If you don't even stop. I'm not even talking about stopping in the shops and everything.
Huge.
It's huge. And There is a pretty straight path if you really wanted to just walk, but it's going to take you a while. It's a really large area.
Yeah. And Cirque du Soleil, is up in the air right now.
That's funny.
So to speak.
The pun was funny, not the fact that they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't at me on that. I didn't.
Yeah. The company has filed for bankruptcy, and the collaboration with Disney that was supposed to be opening in 2021, I believe, has been put on hold. So we don't know what's happening with Cirque du Soleil. I'm a huge Cirque du Soleil fan, so I'm really hopeful that they're able to regroup and reorganize and continue on with Drawn to Life, because the concept art looked gorgeous and I love the story. And I always sort of wondered why there weren't more Disney aspects to the show that was there, the previous one, La Nuba. So fingers crossed that will also be an entertainment. Oh, and the NBA experience. We're forgetting about the NBA experience as well, which is there.
And I haven't been to that.
I haven't.
No, that's it opened right before all of this happened. So.
Right. It took place at Disney Quest, which was a lot of fun for a long time, but
yeah. So tons of things to do. And it's inexcusable that we haven't spent more time there. So one of these days we're really going to have to just do a non-park trip.
I'm pretty much ready to go now. So
I mean, but for the 14-day quarantine in both directions, I'm in.
I'd still be fine with that. Good grief! I mean, you can spend 2 weeks in a hotel.
I'm not going anywhere anyway. Let me be clear.
I mean, you got to pay for that 2 weeks in the hotel, but
I might be okay with that right about now. All right. So that does it for this week. What do you guys think of Disney Springs? You're listening. Do you love it? Do you love the changes? Are you still mourning Pleasure Island? Kungaloosh forever? What are your thoughts? Email us at info@disneyparkprincess.com or join our Facebook group. Some news. We are going to take our usual summer hiatus. So we usually take a couple weeks off in the summer from the podcast. So for the next 2 weeks, there will not be a podcast. We will be back on Wednesday, August 26th. So don't panic next week if you go to your iTunes or whatever you listen to this podcast on and we're not there. It's planned. We're warning you. Okay? So 2 weeks. Don't forget to check out our website, DisneyParkPrincess.com. Don't forget to follow all of our social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We have a page and a group. We're on YouTube. Maybe you're watching us right now. If so, hi. And then I also, Sharla might kill me for this, but I'm doing it anyway. I think I have a new way to get you guys to ask listener questions. So I listen to a podcast called Home Cooking, which I love, highly recommended. And what they do is they have their listeners record a voice memo on their phone.
Sarah, you're killing me here.
I know.
Okay, I love it. No, I love it. I just have no idea how to do that. But that's fine.
I'll figure it out. So record a voice memo on your phone, hold the phone up to your ear like you're making a call for the best sound quality. Ask your question and then email the voice memo to us at info@disneyparkprincess.com. That way you can hear yourself on the podcast and we can hear you asking the question. So make sure that you include the question, just say your name, where you're from. You don't give us, your full name or anything like that. And then that way we can play it on the podcast and we can answer your question because we will have a listener Q&A episode coming up soon. But when we get back, we're going to start a series. And this was suggested by our listener and our Facebook page moderator, Kyle, who we love. And we're going to be starting the series with our favorite attractions in each park. So we would love to know what your favorite attractions are as well. So again, info@disneyparkprincess.com to join in all of the fun that we're having. Patreon extra coming up for those of you who are supporting us on Patreon. Thank you so much for that. Sharla is going to be telling us all about the time that she did a Disney trip in less than 24 hours from home to Disney and back again under 24 hours. So
did it.
Why did she do it? How did she do it? Would she do it again? We'll see. Stay tuned. And we will talk to you in a couple of weeks. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.